Hi everyone and welcome back to SanaA's garden, and welcome if you're new here. I hope you all are doing great. In this video I shall be showing how to store your Asiatic lily bulbs for the winter. I'm really blessed and thankful to be living in a climate where the temperatures are just perfect for lilies, and a lot of growers around the world, especially in the tropical and the subtropical and warmer climates, find it really tricky to get the lilies back in the next year. And in the tropical and the subtropical climates, the Asiatic lilies are mostly treated as annuals because the temperatures are just too warm for the bulb to winterize and develop that strong root system and come back the next year. Asiatic lily bulbs are very cold hardy, and they also need a cold winter to produce bigger and more number of blooms. So it's very easy for those of us who live in the colder climates or the people who get a cold winter to just plant them in fall and forget about it and just wait for spring to happen and their plants to wake up. But the problem really is for the ones who live in the warmer climates or the tropical climates where you do not get a lot of cold winter temperatures. So what can you do to give your lily bulbs that chill of the winter? So we give them an artificial winter. So refrigerators or a fridge has just the right temperatures to store your lily bulbs for winter. At least 8 to 10 weeks should do. It will take some time and effort, but I think if you can get your lily bulbs to come back the next season, it will be worth the effort. Let me quickly brief the process to store your lily bulbs. I have taken some medium sized bulbs here and also a plastic bag. You can use any kind of plastic bag, it doesn't have to be specifically a Ziploc bag. I am just using this so that nothing leaks out of it. And you also need compost. You can also use coco peat if you have. So basically I'm taking some compost here in the baggie, and it is not wet. Let me just point out, it is not wet, it is just little bit moist. So you can see here it's looking pretty dry. So I have just taken some compost in the bag and then I have placed all the bulbs in there. So make sure that your bulbs are not carrying any bugs or any snails or slugs or any sort of pests along with them. You can wash and dry your bulbs for a day before storing them if you think that they are very dirty or they're having any bugs on them. You can cut away all the excess roots if there are any, and just place all the bulbs in that baggie and close it up and store it in the refrigerator. I repeat again, in the refrigerator or fridge, not freezer. Please do not put them in the freezer. To store the lily bulbs in the fridge, use a separate container or a basket to store the baggie, so it is separated from the rest of the food materials and not touching anything. Please make sure that it doesn't touch any of your food items or anything else, and if needed, please make sure that you label it. And if you have kids using your fridge, make sure to put it away from their reach. And also you can put this in a crisper drawer and also in a container or a basket away from the back wall. Make sure that the baggie doesn't touch the back wall. It may lead to freezing of the bulbs and again you may lose your bulbs. Would like to mention here that please keep checking on your bulbs every few days, and also keep checking for the moisture levels in there. If your compost or the coco peat feels too dry to touch, if there is literally no moisture you can feel, I would suggest you to add 1 or 2 ice cubes in there so that they will melt and provide just enough moisture to keep the soil or the compost moist and keep the bulbs fresh. Let your bulbs stay in the fridge for at least 8 to 12 weeks, and once this time has passed, you can take out your bulbs and plant them normally as you would, and that's it. I don't feel like there will be even a need to add the ice cubes because the condensation from the bulbs should be good enough to keep the compost moist. Quite a few of you have asked me what I'm gonna do with all those tiny bulblets. Are they worth saving? Are they going to flower? And all those questions. So over the past couple of years I have come to learn that these tiny bulbs take at least 2 to 3 seasons to come to a blooming capacity depending upon their size. So quite a long wait actually, but I feel like it's a very cost effective way to multiply your favorite plants. I really like these lilies. I have never been tired of them honestly in the past couple years. In fact, I always look forward to their buds and blooms, and they are just so extravagant with such vibrant colors and always an attraction to my front porch. So I'm trying this method to store my tiny bulbs this year. I hope that it really works out. So I have a couple of inches of compost in this container, and then I put all those tiny bulblets on randomly, nothing specific arrangement or anything, and then I'm gonna layer a couple of inches of multi-purpose compost again on top of those bulbs. And after I have at least say 3 to 4 inches of compost, I'm gonna place all the bulbs which are pretty much probable to produce 1 or 2 blooms at least this coming spring. So yeah, so I will have all the flower producing bulbs on top, and at the bottom all the bulbs will be storing and getting bigger in size hopefully by the end of next fall. I'm also trying another way to store the bulblets this year. I'm just using the simple baggie here, and in that I have a little bit of multi-purpose compost. It is just moist, not wet at all. So I'm using all these little bulblets. Just going to place it in there, and I will be storing this baggie in my shed. So my shed is just a plastic shed which is outside, and it is not heated. So I'm gonna try and see how these bulbs will perform, and I really hope that they should be okay at least until the spring. So I'm just concerned only about the summer when it gets hot here only for a couple weeks. So I will be checking on them, and I will be updating hopefully on what happens to these. I'm using only all my tiny bulblets for all these trials. I do not want to risk my bigger bulbs for any of these fails. So I just used all these tiny ones. So yeah, this is my second container with all these tiny bulblets going at the bottom, and then I'm going to follow the same drill and placing all the bigger bulbs which will bloom the next season on top. I would like to add here that the Asiatic lilies are really frost tolerant. They are so hardy that they can tolerate up to minus 30 degrees Celsius, which is about minus 22 degrees Fahrenheit, I think. So if you get lower than these temperatures, obviously there's no other option than storing them in your fridge. But if you live in an area where you're at least like in the margin of these temperatures, say minus 22 degrees Fahrenheit, so there's a way which you can try, which is placing your containers in a shaded area. I mean, not a shaded, which is a sheltered area, protected, any kind of roofing where the snow directly doesn't fall on your bulbs or your containers, or putting your containers in a sheltered greenhouse maybe, or wrapping your containers with a thick bubble wrap or a burlap maybe, so which will protect them if you are in the margins of these temperatures. But yeah, if you get colder than this, definitely you have to store them in the fridge. So good luck with your storing. I hope this really works out for all of you who live in the warmer climates. So that's it for this video. I hope you all really enjoyed watching this video and you got something to learn from it and you got some tips from it. And also I hope that this video inspired you to get something done in your garden today. And yeah, thanks for watching. Keep gardening and bye.